As suggested by my brother, today's video is going to be my top 10 movies, and I'm going to give you a short review as to why they're my favorite, and I hope you like them, and if you haven't watched them, then you should give them a chance. So, one of my favorite movies is the movie Up, and basically it's about an old man who takes his house to Paradise Falls because that's where he and his wife wanted to go their whole life. And it's a great and it's a lovable movie, and also there's a kid who he takes with because the kid's just like a Boy Scout kind of thing, and he just happens to tag along, and it actually makes this huge plot thing in the movie. So it's a great movie. Another movie, it's Edward Scissorhands. This is one of my childhood movies. I know it's kind of darkish, but that's because it's Tim Burton we're talking about. This movie has like some sort of equality kind of thing that's going on today, and also how we should accept everybody. And it's actually really like inspiring, eye-opening, and also funny because it does include some humor in the movie. But it's basically this guy who has scissors for hands, because of an experiment that they did on him, kind of, and like they weren't able to finish his hands, and that's why he has scissors now. And basically, at first people are scared of him, but then people start accepting him more, and he becomes famous, and even people tell him like, oh, now maybe you're gonna change and get real hands, and he's like, oh yeah, that would be nice. And they were like, you realize that if you do get regular hands, then you won't be famous anymore because that's what makes you famous. But he's kind of like, that's not what makes me. I am what makes myself. And in the end, people they stop liking him because he did have a few accidents because some people didn't like him, so they kind of set him up to look really bad, and people start getting scared of him because he's different. But some people still know that he's a good person, and yeah, I'm not gonna spoil the rest of it. Third movie, Baby Mama. I don't know if a lot of people have seen it. I actually watched this movie when I was in elementary school, and it's a really good movie. It's basically this woman, she can't get pregnant. It's played by Tina Fey, and she can't get pregnant, so she hires another lady, a surrogate mother. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I don't mean to disrespect anybody, but yeah. So basically, this lady, she's going to have Tina Fey's children, basically. And it turns out, well, I don't want to ruin the movie, so I'm not gonna do any spoilers. But basically, the pregnancy doesn't go as it was supposed to go, and in the very end, there's a huge plot twist. Well, not a huge plot twist, but it is. Okay. Number 4, The Book of Life. And I'm going to add that one with Corpse Bride because they kind of relate around the same area. It's basically there is death, but in a fun way. Because in a lot of movies, they always portray death as being something horrible, which a lot of people think it is. But in this case, they celebrate it, and it's not that it's great being dead, but in some cultures, death is seen as going to the other world, and like the afterlife is what you're going to, because everybody dies at some point, and this makes it seem like it's good. Like, it's not something to be sad of. It's something like you remember life, and it's a good way. And not everybody's sad that you died. It's just like, yes, you're sad, but it's like you're in a better place kind of thing. So The Book of Life makes a great movie, and it has a lot of cultural references, I guess you could say. And it's interesting, and it shows women empowerment as well. So yeah. And Corpse Bride, that's just one of my favorite movies because it's really cute in my opinion. And yeah, I just really like it. But I Am a Cheerleader. That is my number 6 in my countdown of number 6 in my countdown of movies. And this is basically an LGBT movie, and it's great. Well, I don't know if you want to see it with like your parents, but it's really great. It's about this girl who her parents suspect her of being a lesbian, and they send her to rehab so that she can become straight again. As you probably know, she doesn't become straight, and she doesn't even think she's a lesbian. She keeps on thinking that she's straight, and her reasoning is that she's a cheerleader, and cheerleaders, they're really girly, and she has a boyfriend, so she can't possibly be a lesbian, right? Wrong. But anyways, yeah, it's a great movie. There are some scenes which are not PG, but for the most part, it's really funny and I really like it. It's a boy girl thing. That is number 7 in my countdown. And this movie is really funny. It's like the general you swap genders kind of movie. And I know there's a bunch of movies that are like that, but this one's really funny. It shows a different aspect, and I think it's really hilarious. And unfortunately, it is very cliche, but I've watched it with my best friend, and it was just we couldn't stop laughing. And I wished it was still on Netflix, but it's not. So maybe one day it'll be back on Netflix, and you can watch it, or you can buy it wherever it is. But basically, a guy and a girl go to a museum, I believe. It's been a while, but they saw this thing and they switch bodies, and now the girl, she has to deal with all this like guy things, and the guy's in the girl's body, and then the guy had a girlfriend but she doesn't like her, and so she in the body of him breaks up with her, and because of that the guy in the girl's body becomes this really slutty girl, but then like guys start hitting on him, and he feels really awkward because he's really a guy in a girl's body. He doesn't want to like go with the guys, right? So yeah, it's complicated explaining it, but it's really funny, and if you haven't watched it, I think you should. Number 9 in my movie list is Brave, because I thought I should have some like Disney movie, and I think this movie is women empowerment. Yeah, I think it's a great movie because not because of like the whole women empowerment part. Like, I mean, yes, that's good, but there are other movies that also show that. I just like it because there's not like a love part of the movie. A lot of movies have like a lot of people say Frozen is like, oh my gosh, women empowerment. She doesn't need a guy, but there's still love in the movie. Like Anna ends up with I forgot his name, but Kristoff, yeah. And Mulan, that's also like she doesn't need a man to save all of China, but she still ends up with the guy. So I think this movie was really good because she didn't need a man and she didn't end up with one in the end. She was just single and she was like, I don't need you guys. I am my own person, and yeah. And I think that was the best part of the movie. Also, the bears are pretty cute, so yeah. Number 10, Addams Family Values. This movie, I think it's amazing. Both movies, the Addams Family and Addams Family Values. The reason for that being is because it's so weird and so out there and so realistic. I hate it when you see movies and it's like the typical parents. It's like the guy works all the time and the woman is always nagging and they don't really love each other, and the kids are just like, they don't get along with the parents. Like the teenagers just like, oh, let me go with my friends, and then the children are really spoiled brats. Oh my god, I get tired of that. Even though that does look like America a lot sometimes, but in this movie they love each other, and that's so great. And it's because it's not the cheesy cliche thing. They like have their own way of expressing it, and then the children, they're kind of creepy sometimes and weird, but they get along, and it's funny. They have their priorities set straight, and they know what they're doing, and they understand things, and they can have conversations with the family and other people. I mean, maybe the other people might find them weird, but I feel like they're very honest and blunt about whatever's going on around their house, and also the grandma lives with them, which I think it's pretty cool. But yeah, I think it's just like, even though it's so weird and different from most families, they still have like their their morals and their priorities are actually like not weird. That's what I think a family should be, even if it's quirky or whatever it's called. Yeah, even though it's like not what you expect, I think it's still good. So yeah, those are my top 10 movies, and if you have any movies that you like, please make sure to leave a comment or movie response if you think some of the movies I mentioned are not the greatest movies ever, or you have a different opinion from it. Also leave it in the comments, and see you guys next week.